Okay, so White Death is a black box lab. It's written by me and Danish lab designer Simon Steen Hansen. It's 3 hours all in all, 2 hours of workshop and then 1 hour of play. Sorry. And it's for between 5 and 17 players. It's meant to be played in a black box, which means that music and light is a big part of the design. It's a physical game. It is mostly about different ways of moving and feeling through your body. It's an abstract game, which means that there's not a lot of fiction. It's mostly about what you do. And it's a non-verbal game, which means that there are no talking at all. Even during the workshop, participants is asked to be silent unless they have questions. Okay. The main inspiration for this game is a film called Dreams. And a really nice scene from this film is mountaineers going up to the mountain. And they're like struggling through the snow, and they are getting tired, falling over. And then this really beautiful white-dressed woman comes, and she lay them to rest, and they very peacefully die in the snow. Oh, sorry. It's a really nice scene and a really nice moment. It's a feeling of release and letting go. So it's really like a beautiful death these people has. And this was the feeling we wanted to create in this game. Another thing that was clear from the beginning was that we wanted to use the music by Tom Waits and The Cave and Johnny Cash, which have like a very dark feel. And the lab is very inspired by physical theater and dance. For example, yeah. Robert Wilson, who has some theater pieces that's very like stylistic in their style, and a guy named Antonin Artaud, who's a theater theoretical guy, who has these wild ideas about influencing the audience on a unconscious primal level, not using words but physical methods. And dance theory with physical restrictions and using movement qualities. A big part of the game design was designing the soundtrack. The sound sets the mood for the whole game, and it also makes the flow. So the different feelings that the player should have during the game. There's 2 parts of the game. In the first part, everybody plays humans, which was taken from the mountaineers in the film. They're struggling, they're having a very hard time, and in the first part they get 3 different kinds of objects to work with, or to play with. In the second part of the game, there is some storms, and they're marked by sounds, bells, and then wind. And during these storms, the humans are one by one transformed into these other creatures, white ones, which are maybe snow or angels, but very happy and free in comparison with the struggling humans. The players are not told that the parts have different themes in them. For example, the first part have mystic and dream and survival and faith. This is mainly done through the music and through the objects. So the music for the dream part, very like poetic and light, and switches to survival, which is very rough and up-tempo. Yes. Another big part of the game design was designing what the players should actually do while being struggling humans or happy, spirited white ones. And for the humans, we had these different kind of objects that each represented a theme. And they were presented one at a time, so the players have enough time to explore the interaction with each object. We had balloons representing dreams, cups of sugar representing survival, and paper representing faith. Then there was the transformation from humans to white ones, which was another way for the players to interact. This happens in the second part of the game. And the players know that everyone is transformed, so they have to, at some point, give in and be transformed into white ones. They get a white ribbon, the humans, and the white one that is transforming them is closing their eyes and loosening their body. And the humans are instructed that when they open their eyes after the transformation, they see the world as if they were newborn, and all of a sudden everyone is nice and lovely people and not the struggling humans they were before. The humans and the white ones was in different part of the room, so they only interacted during these transformations. The white ones in the dark and the humans in the light. And throughout the game, the light part becomes smaller and smaller, so the humans are crammed together in less and less space, while the white ones is getting a bigger and bigger area to play around with. And also, the white ones, when they are very close to the human area, they feel the humans' pain, but when they are in the darkness, they forget about the humans and they're just happy and free. And the white ones also have some objects, but they're not representing anything. They have white ribbons and white sheets and soap bubbles to play with. So there was these two kind of characters, first humans, then white ones. They were mainly based on different ways of moving. So they had different movement qualities. The humans move in a heavy and hard and sudden and violent way, which is a very harsh way to move. And also they each have a personal movement restriction. For example, not being able to bend your arms, and not being able to turn your head. And these movement restrictions they're very difficult to keep up. It's very physically exhausting, which for the humans create this feeling of harshness, like it's not pleasant to play these kind of characters. The humans are more individuals. They have relations to other people and ways they perceive other people. And they're told, the players, that the humans are scared and lonely and angry and awkward and insecure. And even though the humans really want to be happy and they want to do good for others, they don't, because they're angry or scared or insecure. So they always fails in being happy in the end. The white ones, on the other hand, have the opposite movement qualities. They move in a light and flowing and fragile and soft way, which is a lot more comfortable. They're much more a group. They're told that they really like each other and they care for one another and they play together. And they're told that they're loving and caring and playful and happy and free. The only bad thing for the white ones are that they really want to help the humans, but they can only do this during the snowstorms. The rest of the time they can stand from the outside and see the humans suffer without being able to do anything about it. Yes, so humans struggles alone, and the white spirit ones are free and together. And the whole point of the game, this feeling of release and just letting go and having this peaceful death, is created by going from being these very restricted and harsh bodies to letting go and being happy and together with other people. In the workshop, the players go through everything that is part of the game. They create the characters and they try out the movements, different kind of movements, movement restrictions. They play the transformation, they play with the objects. And this is because it's very hard to explain these things, why this works and how it works. So for the players to understand what they're about to do, they have to actually do it. So the way we communicate with the players are through showing them what to do instead of telling them about it. And also it takes a specific state of mind to play games like this, I think. It's much more about experience through the body. So a lot of the workshop design is about making the players present and making them aware of the way they move. And also they create the characters and they, as I said, learn how to play the game. Bjarke talked about the communication style Fader yesterday, and we are definitely at the physical end. Players learn through doing, and they can't talk, so that places us in the bottom of that. Yes. Wait. And another relevant fader is one you'll hear about later, representation of theme, which goes from stories to actions. And even though this lab is based on a small story, the way we designed the game is not to tell a specific story, it's to make the players do specific actions, which leads them to a certain feeling, like this feeling of relief and first having a hard time and then being free and happy. So we design through actions, not story, and this enables the players to create their own stories or their own frame for what is actually happening in the lab. They make the situations meaningful for themselves by all the ways they can interact. Yeah, that's it. Thank you.